You wake up, walk to the mirror, and see a familiar face staring back at you. The same eyes, the same features, the same expression you've worn 1,000 times. That reflection is supposed to be you. But is it? Every day, you identify with this image. You say, "This is my face, my body, my identity." You associate it with your name, your past, your story. But beneath that surface, something deeper lingers, something untouched by time, unshaped by appearances. Think about it. If a mirror cracks, does it change the person standing before it? If your face ages, does it alter the essence of who you are? If you close your eyes and silence your thoughts, are you any less you than you were a moment ago? For as long as you can remember, you've been told who you are. A body, a personality, a collection of memories and emotions. But what if that's only a fraction of the truth? What if the person you see in the mirror is nothing more than a mask? A temporary form housing something far greater, something infinite. The reflection is familiar, comforting even. But it is not you. It never was. So the question remains, who or what are you really? From the moment you were born, you were given an identity, a name, a story, a body to call your own. You were taught to respond when someone called you, to recognize yourself in photographs, to say this is me. But is it? Think about how often your sense of self has changed. As a child, you saw the world through innocent eyes, certain of who you were. Years passed, and that version of you faded. The things you once loved became uninteresting. The dreams you held so tightly shifted into something else. The person you were a decade ago feels like a stranger now. Yet, through all these changes, something within you remained constant. You felt happiness, sadness, fear, and excitement. Each emotion so convincing in the moment, yet none of them lasted. Thoughts come and go, identities evolve, but something within you observes it all, untouched by time. So why do you believe you are your thoughts, your emotions, your ever-changing body? They rise and fall like waves in the ocean, but the ocean itself remains. If everything you identify with is temporary, then who is the one watching it all unfold? What if the self you've always believed in is just a story, a carefully constructed illusion? And if that's true, who is the one behind it? Right now, thoughts are passing through your mind. Some are loud, demanding attention. Others drift by quietly, barely noticeable. Emotions rise and fall, shifting like the weather. Your body sits here, breathing, existing. But beneath all of this, beneath the thoughts, the emotions, the physical sensations, there is something else. Something that doesn't change. Something that simply watches. It has always been there. It was there when you laughed as a child, when you cried in moments of loss, when you felt joy, pain, anger, love. It was there before you knew words to describe the world, before you even understood what it meant to be you. And yet, it never speaks. It never interferes. It only observes. Close your eyes and silence every thought for just a moment. There is still awareness, a presence, a witness to everything that unfolds within you. That presence is not your body, not your name, not your shifting emotions. It is deeper than all of that. It has no age, no form, no beginning, no end. If your thoughts are like clouds moving across the sky, then what is the sky itself? If your body is like a character in a movie, then who is watching the screen? There is something within you that never changes, no matter how much life does. That presence has been with you all along. The question is, have you ever truly noticed it? Since the day you opened your eyes to this world, a story was handed to you. A carefully crafted narrative about who you are, how life works, and what is real. You didn't choose this story, it was given to you. Parents, teachers, society, they shaped your perception before you even had the chance to question it. You were taught to follow the rules of the visible world, to believe in what can be seen, touched, measured, to fit into roles, to define yourself by labels, to chase the things that were supposed to make you somebody. Success, appearance, approval, all of it carefully woven into the mask you wear every day. But have you ever questioned who is wearing the mask? You wake up, put on your identity like a costume, and step into the world. You play your part, react as expected, follow the script. And yet, beneath it all, something in you knows there is more. A quiet feeling, almost unspoken. A whisper that tells you this reality is not as solid as it seems. Society tells you what to value. It tells you what is important, what is worth chasing. But none of it answers the deeper question. Who are you beneath all of this? If you strip away the expectations, the roles, the name, face, what remains? For so long, you've accepted the world as it was shown to you. But what if everything you've believed was only a thin veil hiding something far greater? You've worn many outfits in your life. Some felt comfortable, others didn't. Some made you feel confident, others felt foreign, unfamiliar. But no matter what you wore, one thing was always true. You were never the clothing itself. You were the one wearing it. Your body is no different. From the moment you were born, you stepped into this form, this physical shape, and called it me. You learned to move with it, to recognize it in the mirror, to care for it, to experience life through it. But deep down, have you ever questioned whether this body is who you are, or just something you are using? Every cell in your body has changed since childhood. The hands you used to hold onto your parents' fingers are not the same hands you have now. The face you once had no longer exists. Yet, despite these constant changes, you remain. Something beyond the body has been present all along. One day, this body will age. It will slow down, wrinkle, weaken, and eventually, it will be left behind, like a garment that has served its purpose. But the one who has worn it, the awareness that has lived through its eyes, felt through its skin, moved through its muscles, where does that go? If the body is just something you wear for this journey, then what is the you that exists beyond it? Have you ever felt drawn to a place you've never been, as if some part of you already knew it? Met someone for the first time, yet felt an unexplainable familiarity, as if you had known them forever? Experienced a fear, a skill, a longing that seemed to come from nowhere? There are moments in life that don't fit neatly into the story you've been told. Moments that whisper of something older, something beyond this single existence. Across cultures and centuries, countless people have spoken of past lives. Children recalling details of places they've never seen. Deja vu so strong it feels like a memory slipping through the cracks of time. Talents and fears that seem to belong to a different version of you, carried forward like echoes of something long forgotten. If consciousness is not bound by the body, then why would it be bound by a single lifetime? Every experience leaves a mark. Every choice, every lesson, every moment of love or pain shapes what comes next. And if life is a journey of growth, would one lifetime ever be enough? Somewhere deep within you, beyond the memories of this life, echoes of something more remain. But the question is, if you've been before, then who have you been? And more importantly, who are you becoming? For so long, you have lived within a story, one that told you who you are, what to fear, what to chase. A story that made you believe you were only this body, these thoughts, these fleeting emotions. But what happens when that story begins to crack? There are moments when something shifts. When the things that once felt so important, status, appearance, validation, start to lose their weight. When the fears that once controlled you suddenly seem smaller. When the constant noise of the mind begins to fade, and in its place, something deeper starts to surface. You are not your thoughts. They come and go, shifting like shadows on a wall. You are not your emotions. They rise and fall, intense for a moment, then gone. You are not even your body. It changes, ages, moves through time, but something within you remains unchanged. So why hold on so tightly? Why cling to an identity that was never permanent to begin with? The world has convinced you to grip onto the illusion, to believe you are this temporary form, this passing experience. But freedom begins the moment you stop believing the lie, the moment you loosen your grip, the moment you realize that who you truly are has never been confined to any of it. You were never the waves crashing on the shore. You were always the ocean beneath them. Something has shifted. The world no longer feels as solid, as absolute, as it once did. The lines that once defined reality, your identity, your limits, your beliefs, are beginning to blur. A deeper awareness is awakening, something beyond the mind, beyond the constant stream of thoughts. It is vast, still limitless. It does not react. It does not cling. It simply is. And as this awareness grows, so does the way you see everything around you. The problems that once consumed you now seem small, temporary. The fears that held you back no longer feel as real. Even time itself, once a force that seemed to pull you forward relentlessly, now feels different, almost weightless. You are not trapped inside the body. You are not confined to this single experience. Consciousness is not limited to what the senses can perceive. It moves, it stretches, it exists beyond what you have been taught to believe. This is not an idea to understand with the mind. It is something to feel, something to know in the deepest part of your being. For the first time, you are beginning to wake up. And once you do, there is no going back. Something has changed. Life no longer feels like a series of random events, a constant struggle to become someone. The weight of expectations, of fear, of time itself, it's lighter now. Because deep within, you know, you are not this passing moment. You are not this temporary body. You are something far greater, something infinite. You wake up, and the world looks the same. But you move differently. You are no longer lost in thoughts that once controlled you. No longer chasing things that never truly mattered. There is a stillness inside you now, an awareness that does not rush, does not grasp, does not fear. What once felt like obstacles now feel like experiences. What once felt like struggles now feel like lessons. Even loss, even pain, they do not break you anymore. Because you see beyond them. You see from the eyes of something eternal. The body may age. The mind may shift. The world around you may rise and fall. But you remain, not bound by time, not defined by circumstance. You were never meant to live as something small, something fleeting. You were always meant to be limitless, untouchable, infinite. And now, you are finally starting to remember. Everything you once believed about yourself has fallen away. The masks, the fears, the illusions, they were never real to begin with. What remains is something pure, something vast, something that has been with you all along. There is no longer a need to search. No need to chase answers outside yourself. Because the truth was never out there. It was always within you, waiting to be seen. The world moves on as it always has. People rush through their lives, lost in distractions, in identities they mistake for who they are. But you see differently now. The noise does not pull you in. The fears do not grip you. The past and the future no longer hold power over you. You are awake, not as a body, not as a name, not as a fleeting thought or emotion. You are the stillness behind it all, the awareness that does not change, the presence that does not fade. And now, you are free. Free from the illusion of being small, temporary, separate. Free to simply be, without fear, without limits. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning of something greater. Because now, for the first time, you truly know who you are.